Whoa, welcome back, man. Hope you guys are having a great evening, great day, great night, wherever you at watching the stream. Welcome back, man. Every time I upload a stream, dude, it's like something. They just discourage you to do anything. Like, just completely discourage you, dude. It's not even about the views. I don't care if I get one view. It's just always something. Copyright this. Something, the video age restricted, like it's always something, dude. Like, and I try my best to research the videos, and I don't like, it's always something every single day that I upload these videos. I don't get it. I do the best I can to get this, and it still leads down the rabbit hole. Honestly, don't get it, man, but I'm gonna keep going. That's just a part of life. It's unfortunate, but what am I gonna do? It's a part of life, dude. I'm just gonna keep up and doing what I gotta do. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it discourages you to even keep going, man. But in life, I learned in life you can never just give up. No matter what you're facing currently, just keep the ball rolling, dude. There's no other way to put it. It's no other way to put it, but just keep the ball rolling, literally, in every which way, shape, and form. Keep the ball rolling, man. I don't know what you guys are doing right now, though, but let's just have this conversation. Welcome back, guys, to Lannie. Yeah, man, let's get this started, guys. Let's go. Yep. Hope you guys enjoyed the introduction video, man. It's just me being me, guys. It's just me. That's it. No big deal. But yeah, this video today, as you can see the thumbnail and the title, man. I found this video on X, Elon Musk page, and I just thought it was a good video to actually have a conversation about, like, just seeing the father, how he got emotional about his daughter. It really, I don't have kids, but I was like, dang, that's super tough. You know what I mean? Like, he has a grown daughter. His daughter is basically a grown woman. She has her own friends, her own circle. She went out with her friends to enjoy the night. She went home and unfortunately didn't make it through the night. When she left the house to go hanging out with her friends, some piece of garbage individual broke into her house, broke into her apartment, and was just laying there waiting for this poor girl to get home. And as you're gonna see in this video, man, the father, unfortunately, when you have grown kids, you can't be there with them all the time. You know what I mean? So he's super mad, super sad, and he has all right to be mad and sad. You know what I mean? His beautiful daughter that he raised to become a grown woman, going on her own direction, hanging out with friends at night, and then getting home. He's not there to protect her. She don't have a boyfriend. She was just, made it back. Your home's supposed to be one of the safest place. So it doesn't even matter if she had a boyfriend or not, or whomever, staying with her. It doesn't really matter, man. Your home, where you go to sleep, supposed to be your safest place possible, dude. And unfortunately nowadays, you're not even safe in your own home. You know what I mean? And I always make videos saying this, and I'm always gonna keep saying it. Like, women, elderly, little kids are most vulnerable. in society these days. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say, like with all the bad things that's going on all around the world, like I feel in my heart that women, little kids, and the elderly people are the most vulnerable, because you're not gonna go into a strong man, a strong dude's house. You're not gonna go to a dude's house knowing that, this guy's probably gonna fight back, or this guy possibly, gonna have weapons to defend himself, or this guy probably fight you and take your weapon away from you. So it's always a possibility that, the women and the little kids and the elderly people are easier targets. Like this exact situation right here I'm about to get into is that this girl, young, beautiful girl, dude, grown woman, she's a grown up, but she's like 110 pounds. You know what I mean? 110 pounds. This guy broke into her house waiting for her to get home, and she can't defend herself, dude, against some grown dirtbag dude. It's harder for a woman, it's harder for a little kid, and it's super duper harder for an elderly person. So I think honestly, those are the most vulnerable people living in society today, man. Because I wish I could sit here and tell you guys, like things are getting better. I wish I could make this video and be like, no, actually, things are getting much better. It's getting more scary, man, and especially when you listen to videos as which I'm about to show you guys. Especially when you see stuff like that and you're like, bro, like this stuff is just getting out of control. Out of control, man. It's like your father and your daughter move away from, she no longer live under your roof. Like, and you hope and wish your kid the best. That's your kid. You hope and wish her the best. She's grown up. She has the all right to go live on her own. She don't have to stay in the house no more. Like, and you sit back, and as a father, I'm not a father, but I'm just assuming that you wish your daughter was home. You wish your daughter would have went out to a party and got home to the bottom of your roof, because you know that she's going to be safe with you in that house, that nobody was lying waiting for her, just you, her mother, and the rest of the siblings in the house. You wish your daughter would have just went home to somewhere safer, but unfortunately, it's nothing as a father this gentleman could have done. Nothing. He did a great job raising a great daughter. He did his part of it. Now as she's an adult, what can he do? So I'm going to show you guys the video. We're going to get into the video a little bit and let's talk about it, man. I want to switch this thing up. Like I want to do live, and I want to talk about things that's like trending in the news. Like I just want to bring things up and talk about it right there and then. Like I don't like doing stories about rappers. I don't like rappers. Like the whole rap industry stuff, this black guys killing each other. I don't like that type of environment. So I don't talk about stuff like that. Like I don't want to talk about sports. Bro. I'm not into politics to, like, you know what I mean? Like, because talking about politics and religion and race, those things will bring me fire. Those things will bring me heat, because I don't like discussing those type of topics. And in reality, those are the things people want you to talk about. People want you to dive into politics. Today I sat back and I thought of it. I'm like, listen, there is 3 things that I really don't like discussing at all. And that's politics, race, and religion. I don't like discussing those topics, because no matter how good of a person no matter how good of a person you think you are by talking about politics, no matter how good of a person you think you are by not taking a side and taking the right or the left side, you just stay neutral. Just for your neutral comments dealing with politics, you're still gonna get fired. You're still gonna come on the fire. It's just the way it is. You could be the best person in the world and you're not picking sides. In religion, you're not picking sides, but you just talking about religion and a specific religion, you're gonna catch fire. And you not saying nothing bad. You're just speaking the truth about the religion, or you're speaking the truth of it. Always comes back to, bro. It always comes back with some fire. Race. Oh my God. So those are the 3 things I'm like, if I have to discuss one out of the 3, I rather go the politics way. But I'm neutral with politics. I love Mr. Donald J. Trump. I do, but I haven't just started liking Mr. Trump. You got on like me. I liked it, Mr. Donald Trump, from the TV days. Like that's where I first started watching him when he had his show on I think it was NBC. He had his hit show. That was a really hit show. I think he stopped. He canceled it on his own. I don't think the network stopped it because that was a really hit show. Like that's where I started liking him a lot. I just like it, his attitude. You're fired. I just the way he walks. I just like everything about Mr. Trump. And so regardless of the politics thing, the politics, he's the president now. I've been had the utmost respect for Mr. Trump. I've been liked it, Mr. Trump. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not into the politics thing. Like I will always support you. If I like you, I'm going to support you. It's straight like that. That's how I am. If I like you, if like whenever I see you, like I smile, like when the things that you talk about makes me happy, like I will support you. That's just how I am, but I'm not into politics. So that's why I don't really discuss politics stuff. But I said today, I'm like, if I have to actually get into discussing one of the three topics, I think I'll dive into politics because the people that's speaking about politics, which you have the Megyn Kellys, you have them Candace Owens, and then you have Tucker Carlson. Those are like the big three names in politics conversations right now. And I haven't really looked into Megyn Kelly. I didn't really look into Tucker Carlson. I looked into Candace Owens, but the only reason I actually looked into her, like her whole career and stuff like that, is because she had came out with the claim when the unfortunate death of Charlie Kirk. Like she had came out, she made a tweet that the whole world's seen by now, and I read the tweet and I'm like, this woman probably knows something that the world doesn't know. So that's when I started looking into her, and I'm like, all right, this she's heavy on politics. She's heavy on disrespecting Israel. She have like a serious bone with Israel. She's just heavy on disrespecting the Prime Minister of Israel. Like she's just heavy on bashing Israel. But then I started looking at more for content. I'm like, this woman, she's tweeting out stating that, what happened, the government is lying. But then I realized this woman is a master manipulator. Like 95% of her content is just manipulating people's brain. That's all Candace Owens does. 95% of Candace Owens' content is made and created to manipulate people's brains. And she's been doing this for years. Candace Owens been in the media talking politics for years. Like I looked at a whole bunch of her stuff and she's been doing this for years. But she learned and she mastered the art of manipulation. She mastered it, dude. So she knows how to manipulate people. She knows how to come up with those fake nonsense conspiracy theories. And I say it's nonsense. She knows how to come up with those nonsense stories, though. All the fake conspiracy theories that she be bringing up is nonsense. If you're clear-headed and you just listen to this woman, this woman is just talking a bunch of rubbish because she's a manipulator. She's sending out a tweet that, the people who Charlie had business with and people like, then prove it. Then she made a bunch of videos about Charlie Kirk. Like, for God's sake, like at this point, I just think this woman is just profiting off of this gentleman's unfortunate death. Simple and plain. I think she's just profiting because she made since this man passing, this woman Candace Owens done made, I'll say at least 6-7 videos already, just on the topic of Charlie Kirk and who killed him and what was the reason, and the guy who the federal government claimed assassinated Charlie Kirk. He had a company with him. He had somebody else with. She just keep going down that rabbit hole. But at the end of every video, she never gives you a clear answer on what's really going on. That's just how manipulative people work. But anyway, back to my point. Those are the people that's actually involved in the discussion of politics in the media right now. And they're all successful. Listen, Candace Owens, no matter she's a master manipulator, that woman is very successful. And God bless her. She figured it out. But figuring it out, manipulating people to get ahead, it always comes back to bite you in the butt sooner or later. Tucker, I don't really know about that gentleman, but all I know, he's very successful talking politics as well, because he actually has the connections. I sent the interview with him with the president of Russia. To interview a foreign president, you gotta have some type of juice, So, and he's very huge. Like, he has the juice, but I really haven't looked into what side, like he's picking, if he's also going against Israel. I haven't really looked at his stuff, his content, but all I know that he's a big name in the media when coming to talking politics, So, and very successful. The third name that I heard about was Megyn Kelly, and she's also a big name in politics as well, and very successful. Doing those people, good for them. You know what I mean? God bless them. But I hope and wish them all the best. And I don't know if I should dive into the discussion of politics because I don't have a side. All of these people I just discussed, all these people I just named, I'm pretty sure they have a side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going either with the left or with the right. I'm pretty sure they're going either with the blue or with the red. They have a side, and that's not me. I don't have no sides. My side is God's side. That's it, dude. My side is just God's side and hoping to bring everybody together in the world. That's it. I don't want to divide people. I don't want to speak on things that, create bigger division in the world. Like, I don't feel that there's a need. There is too much. There's so many people discussing this type of stuff already. Like, the type of discussion that's in the media nowadays is just doing more harm to the world than good. Because there's so many people out here that's just, the topics, the conversations they're having is just keeping us more and more divided. They just, keep separating people more and more, dude. And I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I don't want to be a part of the problem, dude. So I sit back every day. I'm like, I like doing live streams, but I want to find something that I could discuss on a regular basis, but I want to discuss things that could bring people together, dude. I don't want to keep people apart. Like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like that. So to me, I'm like, dude, it's hard for a person like myself to make it in the media because I don't have a side. And I'm not into disrespecting people to get ahead. I'm not into that, dude. I'm calling Candace Owen a manipulator. Yes, that's not disrespecting her. It's the truth. If you think me saying Candace Owen is a manipulator, you think I'm not disrespecting her. That's 100% the honest truth, dude. Like, I spent a lot of my life studying people, studying the behavior of human beings and why, what makes us different. Does the color of our skin really makes us different? No, it doesn't. And I could just listen to people and just like, okay, this is how they are, this is what they're doing, and I could just figure it out. I'm good like that. So me figuring out Candace Owens by looking at a couple of her videos, that's how she is, dude. And that's not no disrespect. That's not no disrespect at all. Like, she has something against Israel. That's how I feel. She got something personal against the Prime Minister of Israel. Like, I don't get it because she always go down the path of America supporting Israel. America been supporting Israel for centuries. America been supporting Israel for decades upon decades upon decades. So all of a sudden in 2025, why is it still news? Like, why people are still discussing America's support for Israel? It's been going on for decades. It's never going to stop. But she figured out how to constantly bring it up and keep it going. Like, she figured out how to constantly bring that topic up with America and Israel, and America has influence. Israel has influence in United States politics. She constantly talks about those things, that Israel has power over our current president, Mr. Donald J. Trump, and I think that's just all nonsense. I don't think there is nobody in this world other than God that can control Mr. Trump. I don't. I honestly don't think there is anybody but God in this world that can tell Mr. Donald J. Trump what to do. I don't think that's possible. I just don't think that's possible. But she has a history of, like, bringing up stuff like that. Conspiracy theories, or the Israel is running the White House, Israel is running the Pentagon, Israel is calling the shots. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, I don't care. People is like, oh, you don't know nothing about politics. All right, I don't, but I have common sense to know that there is no way any foreign government or any friend to Mr. Donald J. Trump. Netanyahu is like a friend to Mr. Trump. They're friends. They have a good friendship. That's it. But you thinking that Netanyahu is actually running Mr. Trump, you're out of your mind. You think the Prime Minister of Israel is actually telling Mr. Trump what to do, how to do it, when to do it? You have lost your mind. But that's what Candace Owens does. Like, she spread conspiracy theories all around the world, and the people who actually follow her, the people that's loyal to her, the people that she manipulated over the years, actually believes her. And it's amazing to me that she's actually on her streams by herself. A lot of people that does live streams on podcasts and stuff like that, they have co-workers. They have different, 3-4 people do podcasts. Guys that comes on live stream, you have 3-4 of them on stream, creating content. But she do all of her stuff by herself. She's the face. She has a team behind her. Yes, she has people getting the stories, writing up everything, and she's the one that's actually, talking about it. But she's, and that to me is like, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, especially now, because a lot of people, you look at the platform, and that guy Tucker too, he's like that too. I think he also does his own thing. Like, he's by himself, always on camera. I'm pretty sure he has a couple of people behind him as well. He has money. Those people, him, Candace, they got a couple of millions. So their bank accounts are good. The portfolio they have good. They're good financially. So I'm pretty sure the level in the career right now, they got a couple of helps. They got people helping them in the background. They got to have good people finding the stories, writing up good, writing things up for them, and they just take it from there. But I'm pretty sure they got help. The Megyn Kellys, I'm pretty sure she got help. They got to have people in the background working with them. They're just the face But Candace Owens, though, I respect that about her. As a woman, in 2025, regardless she's manipulating people to get ahead, is still she's standing her ground. And gotta say, I can't say nothing bad about that. That's a plus. That's a good thing. Wish all the success for every woman in this world. All the success. Let's stop talking about this manipulative woman, Candace Owens, and let's get into the topic that I really want to discuss tonight. This gentleman and the unfortunate unaliving of his daughter. And he took it super personal. And yeah, let's just listen to this man and his story that he was talking. Let's just listen to this for a second.
What I need you to do. When I tell you this story, think about your kids. Think about your child coming home from a night out with their friends, laying down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come in the room and wake them, and drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees, with her hands over her head, begging for her life, begging for her hero, her father, me.
As a pops, that has to be tough, man. Like him reliving the story, like him reliving what actually happened to his daughter in that room. He wasn't there physically, but he's reliving a story that was basically told by the police, by the detectives that went in when the incident happened. They just basically described what happened, because the gentleman, let's just get this out of the way, the gentleman that committed this heinous act, he got arrested. And that gentleman history of arrest is outrageous. It's outrageous. And once again, this father, understand that he's very mad, he's very upset, he's emotional, and he has all right to be mad, dude. He has all right. He raised a beautiful girl, He raised a smart daughter. She was a good person. And nobody deserved that. Nobody deserve that, bro. So he has a reason to be mad. But you're gonna see throughout him speaking, he also speak very poorly about the judge that sentence him, release him, this man was going to jail, coming out, going back, coming out, and there was this one specific judge that he will always see when he get arrested. But once again, I said that in a previous video. You can't go down the path of blaming the judges. You can't blame the judges because that's how the justice system in the United States work. If you commit a crime, any type of crime, you commit any type of crime, you go in front of a judge. The judge has the right to sentence you to whatever they feel suitable. So the judge will put you in jail, send you to prison for a little while for whatever the guidelines of that specific case, whatever the guidelines hold. That's what the judge have to. That's what the judge have to do. So if put it like that, a perfect example, like this gentleman was a piece of garbage. He had robbery charges, weapons charges, but you figure in the state this happened. If like this man got arrested, okay, for robbery, armed robbery, in the state that he got arrested, the judge, if the armed robbery holds up to 8 years, that's the maximum the judge could give. But a lot of judge, if you do like an armed robbery and nobody get hurt, they would not give you the max. They'll give you probably, instead of the 8 years, they'll give you 5. They'll give you 6. A lot of judge have big hearts. That's just being a good person. Nobody got killed. You know what? 6 years is good enough instead of giving the whole 8 years. Hopefully in 6 years that person will learn. That's how a judge would think. Like hopefully in 6 years, instead of giving the full max sentence of 8 years, I'll give them 6 years, and hopefully, they will learn and they'll come back in the street. They'll come back into society changed. That's the guidelines. So you can't go back. You can't go out blaming judges when they are doing their job by sentencing the people within the guidelines. You can't expect the guidelines to be 10 years max and the judge is given 30 years. This is not how the justice system works in the United States. If the max of the crime of this man, a weapons charge, he was arrested with an illegal weapon on his person. If the max for that charge in that state is 24 months, max 2 years, and the judge came and the judge is like, okay, I'll give you 18 months. I'm not going to give you the max, but I'll give you just a little bit, just lower than the max. Instead of 24 months, I'll give you 18 months. What do you expect a judge to do? It's just the way it is there is guidelines to every case. It depends on what's the case, depends on what's the charges. There is a guideline to sentencing. So the guideline, the max for this case, this specific case, if it's 5 years, you cannot expect a judge to be like, okay, 5 years, I'll give you 15 years. Because the individual that committed a crime, yes, they have a bad rap sheet. Yes, they've been in and out of jail. Yes, the judge is looking at all of those things, absolutely. But still, if the guideline is 5 years, if the max is 5 years, the judge have to give the max or something less than the max. But the judge cannot go over the maximum, because that's when you have appeals. That's when you have a lawyer coming in and be like, no, judge, this is ridiculous. Like the max was 5 years and you give my client 20 years. That's when you get appeals, and that's when the criminal walk for free, because now they're going to be biased by the judge. So you don't want that. It's just the way the justice system in the United States work. So I always hear people blaming the judges when dirtbag people, do bad things after the judge released them, send them to jail, they come back, release it. The judge has no fault in those situations. For the simple fact is, you just never know if an individual is going to change. The judge sentence you and hope for the best for that person. There's very few judges, especially when it's not violent acts, that's going to wish you the worst in prison. No, judges' jobs is not to wish people the worst. They sentence you and hope you change to become a better individual. So I think people really need to stop blaming the judges for people's bad decisions. You know, this man, yes, he was arrested 20 something. He was totally arrested 39 times, dude. This guy. He had 39 arrests, but majority arrests was felonies. He was arrested 39 times, and 25 of those times was for felony cases. Once again, a felony case could be, yes, a felony case is bad, but majority of felony case without anybody getting seriously hurt, you're doing 5 to 8 years. So regardless of how many times you go in and out for felony charges, there is still a cap that the judges cannot go over. You know, it all depends on what type of felony. How, you know, is it an A felony, B felony? It's all depends on those things. You know, the rap sheet says that he was arrested 39 times and 25 of those was felonies. But remember, you could have felonies that's an E felony, which is it's a petty felony. You know, you could have a D felony. You could have a C felony. A felonies are the worst. B felonies are also bad. But you go down the line with felonies that could become misdemeanors after they go to the judge. They could be reduced to misdemeanor charges because they're getting arrested on E felonies, you know, D felonies. So the first, second court appearance could be reduced to a misdemeanor charge, you know, to a misdemeanor charge. So it all goes down to the way that's just how it works, the justice system. You know, it's unfortunate what happened to this woman in the story, but you can't go down the path and like saying is the judge's fault for what happened, you know, to people when they sentence someone several times, but they keep coming back out and doing the same thing. You know, it's not the judge's fault, dude.
Me? That couldn't be there. She was 5'3". She weighed 115 pounds. Bang! Dead. Gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times, 25 felonies, was on the street. How about that? How good are we doing for our family? How good are you doing for your kids?
And right there, I think the reason this is going to always continue to happen, and it's unfortunate once again, but Mr. President Trump, or United States President Mr. Donald J. Trump, he said something a couple of weeks ago about the mental institutions that used to be open in every state within the United States. Basically a mental health building for people who has mental problems. They will go into those buildings, and unless the people that's in charge of those buildings don't see fit for those people to ever get out and get released back into general public, get released back into the population with people, they stay into those buildings for years. So I think to fix this situation, every state and every governor of every state need to really think about what the president had said. They need to reopen some of those buildings for people with mental problems. Because you're going down the path of saying it's the judge's fault. It's not the judge's fault. Yes, this man been locked up 39 times, 25 felonies, so you know there's a problem with this man. If the state where this gentleman was going in and out of jail, if that state had a mental health building, a mental health program where after all these felonies, you know something is not right with this guy. If that state had that opportunity to send this gentleman, if the judge had that opportunity to be like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to keep sending this guy to jail. This guy needs to go to a mental health institution. He needs to go to a mental health building. That's what he really needs. And let them in that program, let them in that building evaluate this guy. Let them evaluate him. Every year, every 2 years, every 6 months, let them keep evaluating this guy. Unless they don't see the signs that he should be back with people, he should be back in the streets, they keep him in the building. But majority of the states, I'm in New York State, and New York State doesn't have all of the mental health institutions in New York State has been closed. And I don't know why. Because just like where this situation took place in New York State, there is a bunch of people as well that's doing a lot of bad stuff. And the lawyer defense for those people, they have mental health problems. They have a history. It's documented. This to me is crazy. Like, you have a history of mental health problem that's documented by law enforcement. You going in and out of jail, in and out of the hospitals, that's documented by law enforcement. But yet, you're going to jail and being released back into the streets. That doesn't help. That's the reason why I think every governor should really work with President Mr. Donald J. Trump, because they should really consider reopening some of those buildings, because it's just common sense. You arresting people back over and over and over and over, and every time you arrest them, they're claiming mental health problems. You're going to give them a year, 2 years in jail, right back into the street. You have to release those people into mental health institutions. You have to release them to buildings and programs that could keep them. Unless they don't show the signs to come back into society, keep them in those buildings. That's the only way to really prevent stuff like this from happening. It's not the judge's fault. It boils down to the state. The governors of those states need to honestly take Mr. President Trump's advice and reopen some of these mental health buildings. These mental health programs, they need to keep those things going, because this type of stuff always going to happen. And then, just like the situation that happened with the girl, unfortunately, the girl in the train going home in North Carolina, the Ukrainian girl, that man is claiming he has mental problems. His lawyer's defense for that man is claiming mental health issues. A man that clearly did something, that he knew what he was doing, and on his way walking out the train, you clearly hear him say something racial. I don't want to repeat what he said, but you can clearly hear what he said racial about this poor girl. He just looked at her as a color. He didn't look at that girl as God's kid. No, he looked at that woman as she was just a color of something, not as God's child. And you will say this man has mental problems? He knew exactly what he was doing. If he didn't know what he was doing, he would have never said what he would have never, the words that came out his mouth on his way off that train, he would have never said it. He would have never used those racial words on his way out after he did what he did to this poor girl. Because he didn't look at her as a human being. He looked at her as a color. And because of her color for skin, he just wanted to just do something bad to that girl. And yet, you're claiming mental health problems? This man was 100%. He knew what he was doing, 100%. He knew exactly what he was doing to that girl. But yet, mental health issue, he has a history of mental health problems. He was in and out of jail. So, bro, ladies and gentlemen, I think you need to write to your governor's office and tell your governors, whatever state you might be living in, please tell the governors of your state to work with President Donald J. Trump, to work with the president on reopening some of those mental institutional buildings, because they are very necessary going forward into the futures to avoid this type of problems. Because too many people nowadays are getting arrested and claiming mental health issues. Put them into those buildings, put them into those programs. Let the people that's running those buildings, let them deal with it. Leave it up to the people that's running those buildings to figure out if these people are healthy enough to come back into society. Until they don't feel like they're healthy enough, keep them in the building. 8, 9, 10, 12, 20 years, keep them in the building. That's it. It's not now. You can't blame the judge. You can't blame no judge for sending them in and out for 2 years, after 2 years, after 3 years. No, keep them in those buildings. After 4 years, they still show no signs of being good people in society. Keep them in the building. It's not blaming a judge. It's you have to, dude. You gotta reopen those buildings and put those people in those buildings, dude.
He should have been in jail for over 140 years for all the crimes he committed. You know how much time he spent in prison? A little over 600 days in 10 years. He's only 30 years old. He was committing 2.65 crimes a year since he was 15 years old, but nobody could figure out that he couldn't be rehabilitated. Well, you'd have to put him in prison to see if he could be rehabilitated. Isn't that the idea of prison? But no, my daughter wanted to be a teacher. She finally figured it out 2 weeks before she was executed. And I haven't heard a damn word from Byron Gibson in South Carolina. Not one word. 4 months, no communication. His biggest concern was that he was pissed off about my interview and how I made him look on the Fox News channel with Trey Gowdy. How
Yeah, this happened in the Carolinas again, man. Like lately, the Carolinas been on the map for all the wrong reasons. The Carolinas been on the map for all the wrong reasons, man. And this father has a right. He has a right to be mad, dude. You might say whatever you want, but this man has a right to be mad. His daughter he raised, a great daughter. He raised a great kid. She had her head on the right path. You know what I mean? Like she was doing what it takes to become a teacher to help other kids. You know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately, I know for a fact in life, ladies and gentlemen, I know that every single thing that happens every single day, it's a reason behind it. Every single thing. And good or bad. But when good things happen, everybody's happy, everybody's cheering on, everybody's laughing, smiling. But when something bad happens, things that we deemed bad happens in our lives, immediately we don't take the time to like, okay, why this is going on? Like immediately as human beings, we're going to start pointing fingers, but like me personally, I'll tell you my story. Like I think the reason I said that, right? Every single thing that I've done in my life, good or bad, the good, obviously, every good thing you do in your life, you're going to be very proud as a human being. Of course, I'm very proud of all the good I've done and the good that I'm going to continue to do in my life. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud. I love helping people. I'm proud of my track record when coming to doing good. But at the same time, the bad things that I'm not proud of that I've done in my life, I looked at, I've been looking at both sides, at both angles of my life, the good and the bad. And I realized that I'm not proud of the bad things that I've done in my life, but in reality, those things clear the path for me to be who I am today. 100% I believe that. All of the ups and downs that I've went through in my life, all of the bad decisions that I made, all of the bad choices I've made in my life, I'm not proud of none of those things. But a lot of those things actually made me who I am right now. All of the things, the trials and tribulations that I've went through in my life, it honestly molded me into being the human being that I am, sitting, making this video right now, and always constantly thinking about God and how would God want me to speak and how would God want me to act and how, always that's on my mind every single day. I don't make decisions now without God being a part of it, because I know if I make decisions with God, it's going to be better for me. It's going to benefit me. So I always keep God every day within me, around me as much as possible. So you will hear me saying that everything happens for a reason, because I honestly believe that. I honestly believe every single thing in life happens for a reason. And situations like with this girl, this could all be, and that's just my perspective on life. When things happen to people's kids, that specific girl have never done nothing bad to nobody that we know, that the media knows. You know, what led up to her being unalive brutally that in that fashion? I don't know that girl personally. She's a grown woman, you know, but what can she have done to deserve to go out that way? And I can just think about karma. Because you have to understand as an adult, right? Or as a human being in general. When you do bad things in life, when you as a younger person, you're doing bad things, and now you're in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s, you know, and all the bad things you have done. Now you have 2, 3, 4 kids, and you did all those bad things 20 years ago, 15 years ago. You done did a whole boatload of bad things that never caught up to you. Yet, what I learned, that karma has a way of getting to family members, getting to people close to you. When listen, that's just me. That's my theory about life. When we do bad things in this world, we don't ever get away with it. But my theory is that when you're doing bad things, probably could be in your younger age, when you're in your teenage life, in your 20s, whatever it is, you did a whole bunch of stuff that you know was immoral. You did a whole bunch of stuff that you know was not right in the eyes of God. So you know that eventually this is going to catch up to me. But 20 years pass. Now your kids is older. You know, 25 years pass. And you still, you good. You living a great life. Nothing had caught up to you. And you thinking in your head like, oh, this karma train passed me. Yeah, this karma train left me. Bro, it never passes us. It never passes us, dude. 100%, I'm telling you right now. If you think you're going to get away because all of a sudden you did bad things 20 years ago and now all of a sudden you're a Catholic, you're a Christian, you're going to church every Sunday. So you think because you become a godly, loving person, so all of a sudden all the karma is going to go away. I'm telling you right now, it never goes away. Because the truth is, all and every bad things that we do as God kids, God is going to find a way to punish us, to make us learn, to teach our new generation, to teach our family members to not go down that path of committing crimes and doing bad. God is going to teach us that karma comes from God. Absolutely, God loves us, but we will never get away in God's eyes when we commit and do bad things with God watching. God watches everything. So I know for a fact that when we do bad things, we have to answer to it sooner or later. So when it comes to you, okay, 20 years pass and nothing caught up to you yet, but all of a sudden, something terrible happens in your family. Something terrible happened to someone you love. People don't sit back and be like, wow, this is a possibility for what I did 20 years ago. This happened to my kid. I'm telling you, that's my theory on life. You don't have to consider my theory, but I'm telling you, for me studying and looking into stuff like that, I'm going to go with what I feel, what I honestly think about life and the way life works. Remember at the beginning of this, I told you guys I took the time to actually really pay attention to life itself, to like study people and what makes us different and why we act the way we act. This is what I came up with when it comes to karma. Because I know for a fact we're never going to get away with bad things. We're never going to get away with it, dude. I don't care who you say you know right now that has done bad stuff and never got caught for it. Yet. They haven't got caught yet. And I'm literally using yet because it's coming. It's coming, dude. It's coming, and sooner or later, it's going to come when you least suspect. Like, once again, I don't know what this gentleman have done in his past. I don't know what his daughter was involved in, but the way he's crying and making and talking to the media and saying in the media, this is just one of his stuff that he was speaking on. He did many and many of interviews when this happens to his daughter, and he has the right, of course, he defends his daughter. But God knows, he never said in the media what was his daughter involved in. Like, he just claimed that she was on the right path, that she was about to be a teacher. Just all good things about his daughter, which is his kid. Be proud of, good. But we don't know. We never heard in the media that she was involved in anything bad. We don't know about her father, what he was involved in. We don't know about her mother, what her mother was involved in. It all connects. Believe it or not, when I'm saying these things to you, every single thing in our lives connects. God has ways, right? Something that happened 5 years ago, something that happened 10 years ago, something that happened last week. God has ways to connect all of the dots. God has ways to connect all of the dots. So regardless if something was done before this girl was even born by her mother or father, and I'm not saying they did anything. Please don't take my words out of context. I'm just saying, in my study, on my journey, what I came up with, my conclusion to karma, and when things happen that we don't like to happen, when bad things happen in our lives, we don't sit back and think about what we did 10 years ago. We just start blaming people and started pointing fingers, oh, this person's a dirtbag. What I learned, every single thing that happened in my life, every single thing that happens in your life, it's a reason. It's all a reason. God has a way to connect all the dots that we think we left behind. Think about it, bro.
Pathetic is that we're letting our 22-year-old kid visiting friends. It's all she ever wanted to do was visit friends. And she literally was executed while on her knees begging for her life. Her name's Logan Federico, not Irina. And you will not forget her. I promise you. You will be sick and tired of my face and my voice until this gets fixed. I will fight until my last breath for my daughter. You need to fight for the rest of our children, the rest of the innocents, and stop protecting the people that keep taking them from us. Please. You have the power. We put you in the power to do what you have to do. We're asking you, we're begging you all to stop this. 30.
And so the only how to stop this, the justice system was written into law centuries ago. The justice system is the way it is. I know you were mad. I know you expected that the judge to keep this gentleman in jail so he should never be back in the streets. But unfortunately, sir, every single charge that you go face the judge with has a sentencing guideline. Every charge. So out of the 25 felony charges this man accumulate, and you have to realize this man accumulate all those charges in a 15-year span. This man is only 30 years old. You think about this. This gentleman, 30 years old, he started committing those crimes when he was 15. You're talking about adolescents. You're talking about like kids these days that's, bro. And it's not getting better. The new generations now with all the gang stuff they are getting involved in, bro, they're not getting better. The 14, 15, 16-year-old kids now, they're not getting better. This man started his criminal history at 15. Now he's 30. And this is the worst thing he ever done. Everything else compared to what he done to this girl is really nothing. So that's why I'm saying, like, her father is mad. He has all reason to be mad, but it's not about what the judge did. It's not about what any politician did. The rules of the justice system is already written centuries ago. Every crime has a sentencing guideline for every crime. The judge cannot override that sentencing guideline, no matter if the judge have sympathy for the victim or sympathy for. So it don't matter how the judge feel. The judge could be very angry, but the most the judge can give is the max under the sentencing guideline for that specific charge. You got to take that into consideration. Like, this gentleman is very upset, 100%. He should be, but you have to take it like he's expecting the judge to keep this man in jail for 100 years. It's not logic. It's not logical in America, in the United States, because every charge has a sentencing guideline. The 25 felonies, yes, it sounds terrible on paper, but what was the felony charges for? That's, it all comes down, like, I'm a logical person, so I'm not just thinking about what he said. He's mad, yes, 25 felony charges, yes, but it could be, once again, it could be simple felony charges that once you go to court could be reduced to misdemeanor charges. Even regardless, if he gets convicted for a D felony, what the most is going to do in jail, the most is going to do in prison, a year, 2 years for a D felony charge. For A felony, yes, you're going to do a couple of years, but for like a DE felony, you're not doing no more than a couple of months behind bars. That's the sentencing guidelines. The judge cannot do nothing else. If your sentencing guideline is 10 years, the judge could give you the max, which is the whole 10 years. But that's it. The judge cannot go over the 10 years and give you 40 years because she or he judge, they feel like it. Because the judge is just mad at the situation. The judge, being a judge, you can't take things personal. The judge is still held. The judge is there to uphold the law, absolutely. But the judge cannot go over her power or his power. If the sentencing guideline is 20 years, the judge cannot give them 50. They have to give the maximum penalty for the crime they have committed. A lot of judges would not give the maximum unless it's something very brutal, unless it's something like very bad. Like right now, this case, he's never coming out. This is like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like the worst thing he ever done. This is the type of case, and it's unfortunate that this man had to lose his daughter for this guy to never come out of jail. But that's just how the justice system works and operates in the United States. That's why, once again, all the governors of all the states within the United States need to work with our president, Mr. Donald J. Trump. When he spoke about reopening those mental institutions, they should listen. They should work immediately. Those governors should be calling the White House, calling Mr. President Trump and like, oh, you know what? This is a great idea. Let's get funding, help us fund these programs where we could reopen those buildings. We could, like, every the time I look, all of these people, they want to go against president. They want to go against the president. Like, the president has great ideas. He has a lot of good ideas. Like, that's a great idea. Reopening some of those mental institution buildings, it's a great idea. Because you can't keep them over the sentence guidelines. Put them in those buildings. Let them do the 4 years, whatever their sentence, the maximum sentence. After they get released, release them a year earlier into those buildings. That's it. They get sentenced to 5 years. Let them do 3.5 in jail. Release them to the mental institutions. Let them deal with them there now. Unless the programs see that they're not fit to go back into society, keep them in those programs. There is no need to release them after that. But now, unfortunately, this had to happen to this girl, and now this guy is never going to get out of jail. It's unfortunate once again, but the system is the system. You know what I mean? You can't go around blaming judges or blaming the politicians or blaming the police officers that was involved. No, you can't, because I'm pretty sure all those 25 cases that this man had, the 25 felony cases, in total he had 39 cases. Out of the 39, 25 was felonies. I'm pretty sure the judge that he faced a lot of time, that judge did the best they can to within the sentencing guideline for that gentleman. Because every judge hope and pray for the best for everybody that they sentence. If they sentence you to 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, the judges is not wishing bad. The judges are hoping that, you know what, this person could change. This person, could become a good person, and they could go back into society and, become good people. They could go back into society and actually help the community, help the younger generation, the community. But it's unfortunate, a lot of people don't learn from the past experience. It's just, and once again, I say it's unfortunate because it's just a lot of people nowadays, man, they just don't choose to learn to become better versions of themselves. Everybody out here, I know it's not easy. Life is not easy in general. Life was not meant to be easy. You think I have things easy? No. But I refuse to just give up and blame the world for my problems. Because I realize every single day that my problems compared to other people's problems, other people have way worse issues that they're dealing with. Yes, I would like to have a better life, of course. Yes, I would like to get a boat. I love fishing. I would like to go fishing on my own. There's things that I like to do, and hopefully one day I get the opportunity to accomplish everything that I really, I want to do. But until then, it's a struggle. It's a tough climb. I'm climbing the hill every single day, just like everybody else. But I refuse to sit down and complain and, blame other people, because I realize there is so many other people that has things 100 times worse than I do. I'm grateful to God every single day that I have my vision. I'm grateful to God every single day that I could hear people talking to me. I'm grateful to God every single day that I can walk, that I can smell, that I can taste, that, I'm grateful to God for my arms. I'm grateful to God for the things that really matters. I'm grateful to God that it gives me the ability to go lift weights 6-7 days a week, to work out, to get on it, to go running, to get on a treadmill. I'm grateful to God that I have the ability, that I can do these things. So when I sit back and I'm like, yes, there is things that I really would like to have in my life right now, but I don't. But I'm going to continue to climb this ladder. And eventually, with me, I don't have a quit mind. I don't have a giving up mind. I don't ever think about giving up in life. So I'm going to continue climbing. No matter how hard it might seem, I'm going to continue working my way up this ladder. Because there's people right now that don't have a vision. There's people right now that they have no legs. There's people right now can't even hear. Why should I complain? You know what I mean? There's people right now that's actually starving, hungry, haven't ate for 2 days. I have clean water I can drink. I have bottles of waters I can open up and drink a bottle of water right now. I have a place to live. I have a bed to go to sleep on. There's people that has to lay down in the park on concrete to go to sleep. So why should I complain? Why are you complaining? I just want to end this video on this note. We as human beings, let's be more grateful in life. And let's understand that every single thing that happens, it's a reason behind it. Let's stop taking the time to point fingers and blaming everybody else when something happened that we don't like. Does this father has a right to be mad? 100% he has a right to be mad. But do he has the right to blame the judge? Do he has the right to blame the politicians? No. Because the justice system, the rules of the justice system was written into law centuries ago. It's not the judge's fault. It's not the politician's fault. It's unfortunate what happened to his daughter, but I don't think he has the right to be that upset at the state of South Carolina and the governor, the mayor, or whomever, the politicians over there. I don't think he has the right to be mad at them for not keeping this guy in jail for 100 years like he wanted to happen. It's unfortunately the law was written centuries ago, hundreds of years ago. So you have to go back to Congress to change the law. I guess that's what's going to happen. But I honestly think that these governors from every state should work with the president and reopen some of those mental institutional buildings, and hopefully things get better. Hopefully things change. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to end this stream tonight by saying, to all and every of God kids within the United States, may God bless us all. To all and every of God kids all around the world, may God bless you guys all. To our president, to our commander-in-chief of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump, sir, as always, Salute to you and your entire family, sir. May God bless you and your families. May God watch over you and your family, sir, on this beautiful, wonderful night and forever. May God watch over you and your families on your trips within the United States and on your trips outside the United States. May God always be with you and your family, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, always treat people with the love, the kindness, the care, the loyalty, and most importantly, the respect that you expect others to treat you with at all times. Shorter version, always treat people the way you want to be treated in life. Always do what's right in the eyes of God and his family, and always make God a part of your decision making every single day. When I was not including God in my decision making, I was making terrible decisions. Now, every single day I walk with God by my side, in my thoughts, in my brain, in my heart, in my body at all times, every single day. I suggest you do the same thing if you're on the path right now of, living a life of committing sins or living a life of just doing bad, terrible stuff. I highly suggest that you include God in your decision making every single day, and I promise you, it will make a difference in the choices you will make going forward into your future. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And until then, guys, please let's unite together to make this world a better place. Let's do it together. Let's lift each other up instead of bringing each other down. Let's work together to make things better for us all around the world.